What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Geekiverse episode here. We're going to call this a Geeks Got Game, even though it's been a long time coming. I was looking back through the numbers. We had not recorded an episode of Geeks Got Game since 716 Day, so July 16th. That'll be a big day for John this year.
Oh, yeah.
And what's also really cool about this episode is if you look at them from the list, this is episode number 50. So what better way for us to jump back into this with kind of a little bit of a special edition here. We're going to go off the beaten path for our typical format here. We've got some fresh faces on the crew today, but we're going to draft some video games a la fantasy football or fantasy hockey style draft. There's an actual video game drafting website, which we're going to get into in a second. We're going to draft live in front of you. It's going to be a good time. I'm Josiah Leroy. With me today, some of my best friends in the entire world here. I'm going to start with a guy that's on every Geekiverse show all the time, Baba Yaga himself, Mr. John Fick. John, are you ready to draft some games?
I am, and I even have my nice little trophy because if you remember, it wasn't a specific Geekiverse fantasy league last year. Josiah was in it, though, and I was the champion. So I'm celebrating this year with my trophy, and I expect the same again this year.
That does not sound like it happened. Anyway, it did happen. John won.
Just to hop in real quick, the viewers can currently see the fantasy website, and my name does have a crown next to it, so they can all confirm.
It's really good with Photoshop on the fly.
Also, you and Joe.
We're in like a video game. Yeah, we're like in a video game chat. It was like I think we had like 12 people. It was kind of big, something like that. But yeah, it was fun. But we just repurposed that league because we couldn't really get enough interest to do it again this year. So we just repurposed it and made it the Geekiverse League now. I just wanted to keep my crown.
It's yeah, no, it makes sense. It's gonna be a fun thing to go through all the throughout the year here as a recurring theme as games get delayed, as new games get announced. I'm really looking forward to it, especially keeping track of the standings. Tim Talbot, co-host of Dadcast, is joining us. I think this is your first episode of Geeks Got Game, Tim.
Yeah, I think I've done a few reviews and obviously Dadcast a little bit, but this is my first time on here. I'm excited. I think this will be a good way for people to kind of get an idea of what's coming out this year with everything that happened last year with COVID. It'll be a good idea. I know for myself, before we even did this, I was talking about the fact that I really don't know what I'm supposed to look forward to this year. So I think this will give people a good idea of, hey, these are the games I should look for. Obviously, you don't want to get whatever games Joe's looking for. You don't want to go for those games because probably. So we'll see how everything goes.
Correct.
So.
Oh, wow. Tim, can I see you real quick? All right. Also with us today, we've got, as we said last episode, if you caught our last episode of MCU where we talked WandaVision, we can't have two Johns on the show. So we've got JT. JT, I don't even know where to begin, but I like your team name.
So, of course, Ghost of Tsushima is better than The Last of Us 2. I'm going to start off with that. But I know what I'm doing here. I'm going for the crown, hypothetically speaking and literally speaking. I want that cup. Is there a replica somewhere or something? I want that cup.
Yeah, I think you can buy it.
Look, personally, I'm going to use you guys a little bit too. I'm in like a writer's block version of gaming block, and I haven't played anything new lately, and I feel like I'm going to use all your guys' ideas to entertain myself the rest of the year too. So I'm excited. I can't wait.
You gotta play the field. That's definitely a good idea here. I know John earlier said he's kind of been pining for that next AAA experience. At the end of the show, what I would like to run through really quickly, we never announced it because we were in a hiatus, but we did at the Geekiverse do a year-end most anticipated games list for 2021. I'm not going to go through it now just because I don't want to refresh anyone's memories, anything like that. We'll wait till the end and then we'll see how that list compares with the 10 games that we've got there. And then last, but certainly not least, one of my very, very good friends, you've heard him on the radio if you're in Western New York, of course, on WGR. His nickname that I've given him that he doesn't know about yet is going to be DK421, like the Stormtrooper TK421. There you go, Derek. Derek Kramer, so happy to have you on the show, buddy.
Does that mean I'm going to miss a lot? Is that what's going on here?
That was the undertone, so thank you.
Dang it. Yeah, no, I am ready to get walloped in this draft. I've got a lot of guys here that know their stuff with gaming, and I don't know as much of this stuff, but I'm also I'm not a quitter, so I'm gonna just try to do what I can here, and Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that one of you guys just trips over yourselves and I don't finish in last.
Fantasy is
That might
all
be
luck,
me.
man. I don't know too much about football. I'm a very casual Bills fan. I'm a big fan when they're good. Obviously, that's how we are here in Buffalo. I play fantasy football every year, and I'm in the finals almost every year. You don't have to be good at this stuff. You just luck into it.
John, you know what's nice?
Josiah, how'd you do in a fantasy league we were in?
Hey, Derek, why don't you shut up? So 2 years ago was my first fantasy football league, and I made it to the finals. And here's why. I think a little bit of luck, but I also had no bias. Like if I play fantasy hockey, I start running into biases and I reach for some players. Fantasy football, I was like, well, the numbers say this guy should go next, so I take this guy next. So I'm going to run into maybe a touch of that with video games, but I got to find a good middle ground. Last thought here. So John, if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the Geekiverse, John had the PlayStation Trophy Cup, right? The gauntlet. What am I saying?
Goblet, maybe.
I had one,
for.
and I broke it when I was watching.
I need one.
Goblet is what I meant.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
so I had one, and as luck would have it, I broke it. It probably was the same day that John won the crown last year.
I would imagine
Just
so.
naturally.
But it rains, it pours, you know.
It's so difficult. We should come up with some sort of trophy that like we pass back and forth year to year, unless John keeps it, because I know that's going to be his response here.
I mean, I'm sure we can buy another one of these and use that as the trophy. I mean, it's a pretty, we all like beer. It's a PlayStation
bigger,
trophy.
so when you're actually on, it's like noticeably bigger. Like you have this giant cup on your screens.
We can do that.
Yeah, I'm into that. All right. So what I'd like to do just before we jump into it, if you're watching, great. If you're listening, you'll still be able to do a good job of keeping up with us here. John is going to have the graphic on screen just to kind of show what the draft results are as we talk through our picks. John, if you wouldn't mind, would you give just a quick 101 on what the league looks like in terms of scoring or in anything that is relevant, and then just the draft order at the end?
For sure. So we're using a website called fantasycritic.games. Really cool website, really basic, but it does a cool job. So the idea is we all draft a team of video games. So these games all have to come out in the year that you're drafting in. So it's a yearly thing. We score this until the end of the year. Obviously 2021 is what we're looking at here. You can change these numbers if you do your own league, but we have it set to have each have 10 games on our teams. So we all are going to have 10 games. We're only drafting 6 today. Throughout the course of the year, new games will get announced. You'll get some more information on other games. You might want to add them to your roster. So there's like a free agency system. I think we might do some updates here and there, maybe an update video halfway throughout the year and see like how our scores are going, because our rosters will probably look a little different. But today's the draft. You can see the draft order here. I'm going to go through that now. So first is Josiah. His team is Delays Gone. I love that. Very good. I'm second. I'm Dry Hop Digital. Tim is third. Nostalgia Remastered. Derek is fourth. Name of a Team, very classic. And John is last. He did not name his team. So the way the scoring works, you pick a game, you hope it scores well. Where does that come from? This website uses OpenCritic. So OpenCritic is another website that basically grabs a bunch of different reviews from all the big outlets like your IGNs, your GameSpots, and stuff like that, and gives it an overall score. Metacritic is very similar. It's more popular. You probably heard of that one. This uses OpenCritic. So a game comes out, it's on your list, it scores a certain number, you get points for it. The way that scoring works is every point over 70, you get 1 point. So 70 is the baseline. That's kind of where they start their scoring. If a game comes out and it gets 75, that's 5 points for your team. It gets an 80, that's 10 points for your team. Now, a little extra bonus, if you pick a banger, every point over 90 is an extra point. So if your game scores a 92, you've got 24 points instead of 22. Every point over 90 is another extra point. So last year I had like 3 games over 90. I made bank last year. It's great. So today we're gonna do the draft. We're all gonna pick 6 games, and then again throughout the year we're gonna keep adding. The way we add games, if you're curious, is that we all have like $100 fake dollars, a budget of $100, and we bid on a game. So if a game gets announced, if we go offline and all of a sudden The Last of Us 3 gets announced and it's coming out in October, like we're gonna want to bid on that. So we all, however much we want to bid, we throw that up there, and at the end of the week, I think it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's a day that all bids are processed, and whoever bid the most gets that game, and that's the gist of it. Josiah, any other points of clarification?
The only thing I'd say is if that game were announced, I would probably pick Ghost of Tsushima 2 ahead of it. That's about it, though.
Yikes!
I hate to be that guy.
Kurt.
Okay, no, I got nothing, John. Sorry.
All right, cool. That's it. Yeah, we're gonna get started. The draft has already started. So my screen is the one that's being shared right now, so I'll move around. The draft is in progress. Josiah is going first, so I think when he selects his game, it will just populate and then move to the next one. This is kind of going to be on the fly because we haven't done this in a year, and there's really no way to test it out. So we're gonna learn together.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Man, picking first overall. So I don't want to say I'm the Edmonton Oilers because this is the first time it's happening. But
Oh boy.
John, you said also, so my pick is locked in my head. Like nothing's going to change it. Earlier in the day, I did have a different pick in mind, but right now it's locked in. Before I reveal that pick, you said you guys wanted to maybe have a little action to see.
A little side bet to guess. I was kind of just half joking. I really don't know. My guess would be that you're going to go safe and go with Ratchet and Clank.
That's what I thought too.
The only reason I think so is because it's a can't miss in terms of release date, and it's like a guaranteed like 80 or above. I think there's another game out there that's like that too, but I don't want to start giving away too much. So my guess is going to be Ratchet, but we'll see. I'm not making any wagers. I'm not that confident.
What else?
I think that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, you're gonna go safe here.
Okay, that's great.
Oh, wait, hold on. I do have one more thing to talk about before you draft. Let's get the rules out of the way. The counter pick. That's kind of a big thing for this. So you pick you draft your 6 teams or your 6 games, but then after that, we all draft what was called a counter pick. So basically, when it's your turn, you draft a game that is on somebody else's roster that you think is going to perform poorly, if I could speak. Basically, you get the opposite points. If the game scores a 69, that person gets a -1 for their game. You get a +1 for having that as your counter pick. The safest way to usually play that is to try to pick a game that you think is not going to come out, because then you just get a 0. But do it however you want.
It's the version geez, I can't talk either. The Geeks Got Game version of the Snap. If you have watched our MCU reviewed,
there you go.
In a way. So, okay. It's funny enough, I did play Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 remake for the first time over the weekend, and I beat it.
Awesome.
Great game. My gosh. I'm going to go, I think, platinum that one. It's very short. All right. So with the number 1 overall pick, this game, I'm late to the party on this franchise.
Oh, yeah. That was the second one. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it, despite not having played its predecessor. But its predecessor also did very, very well when it did release just a few years ago.
It's on Game Pass, too.
Pick is going. Going to pop up on screen there.
All right, let's see.
Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, so that was my second one. I didn't want to say it just in case you didn't go with it. It hasn't popped up yet. Did you lock it in already on your end?
Yes.
All right. It hasn't popped up yet. Maybe I have to...
I saw it on mine.
You see it on yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, the one that matters the most gets no love here. I'm just going to refresh my browser.
I tried to make it a little dramatic, seeing how quick it would pop up. But yeah,
the champ there, huh?
All right, I refreshed my browser and now it's here. So you can see everybody that delay's gone. Josiah's team has picked Resident Evil Village.
I think that's it. I mean, Ratchet, yes, sure bet. I think Resident Evil just as much of a sure bet right there.
I agree.
It's so popular right now, and the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake were just awesome. 7 was so well received, and then with the rumors of 4 on the way at some point here, probably in the next few years, I think hype is back for Resident Evil, and it's super exciting because, like I said, I'm late to the franchise, but I'm here to stay. So I'm super excited about it.
For sure. That was my second one, and that's really the only like AAA third-party game that's like definitely going to hit this year, and it's probably not going to disappoint. It's a really, really safe pick. Speaking of safe picks, the viewers at home have a sneak preview because they can see me scrolling through the games here, but I'm going to go with the one that we just spoke about, and I am taking Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That game looks like it's going to be so cool. It's going to take advantage of the PS5 in some pretty cool ways with those load times and flipping through different universes. So I'm pumped about that game. I think it's a safe bet and easy. Like an 83 minimum is where I'm thinking. Like that's if the game just comes out and it's just like, it was okay, but it still was beautiful and it was a lot of fun to play. That's like the low side of the score for me. I think this thing could be like a 90+ if it really hits.
I agree.
Then it's me. So I feel like this is probably one of the more difficult picks because the two good for sure, good ratings were taken. So, and I kind of figured that would happen. There's a couple in here that I kind of had my eye on. There's one that I kind of been eyeing up, but I might try to snag that later on, thinking that it might slip through the cracks.
Hmm.
Good
strat.
And there's a couple in here that, like Monster Hunter Rise, I think would have been a good pick, but obviously that's already out.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3D World's already out. There's a couple in here that are kind of iffy. I'm actually going to go with, this is we'll see how this goes. This is a game I'm actually very excited for. But we're going to see how it plays out.
Feel free to say it when you do it too, just because. Oh, I got it.
Yeah, so mine's Kena.
That's a great pick. Kena Bridge of Spirits. That's a great pick.
I feel like that's the next best third pick. So
I think it's solid. I definitely was on my short list. I don't think it's as safe of a bet as
for sure
some of the other games, but the payoff could be really big with it.
Yeah.
And either way, I'm excited as hell to play it.
So I'm absolutely the wild card here, and I'm probably not going to be picking games that are on a safer side of things. But more of games that I think will have those kinds of audiences, or just a well-received type of game. And back in the Nintendo 64 days, there was always a franchise that just enthralled everybody, even though it was one of the simplest things that you could do, and that's just take a picture.
Oh,
with the new version of this game coming out for the Nintendo Switch, I think that it gets a whole new audience. It gets a chance for people to play that game with a different style to it and different Pokemon to it. I think it's a snap to go ahead and go with new Pokemon. For the
Derek, I love it. It's a great pick. It is a great pick.
He thinks he's a wild card. He comes up with the old school. I love it.
Yeah,
so
very good.
Derek, I actually had that second on my list.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that was my next pick here for sure, and ahead of anything else. And I'm so excited to play it. I did not play the first one, so for me, this is
trying to get that game nowadays for the N64 is impossible. Like secondary market on it, it's like, I want $140 for this. Hang on, what?
Yeah. Well, it's a good pick.
And John knows I'm very fond of Pokemon as someone that grew up with it. It just it sings with me. Yes, right there. Yeah.
Well, VMAX Charizard Flex. Who we got next? John, the unnamed team.
Yep.
Tsushima over Last of Us. I don't want to go too deep into descriptions here. I'm gonna make this nice and simple for you guys. Okay. It's a game that did well. You all know it did well. There's the sequel's coming out later on this year, hopefully. Fingers crossed, second half. And honestly, I feel like it's gained some hype. The initial, the first version of it has done well recently as well. I've seen a lot of streamers play it. And you guys can check it out. Horizon Forbidden West, baby.
That's
come on, man.
It's a great pick. I mean, Horizon's incredible, and that's one of those games that I'm afraid to touch that because I don't trust that game's coming out this year. That's
why I didn't pick it.
Yeah. If it hits, you're gonna kill it.
If it hits, I'll kill it. Yeah,
I'm really sorry. I don't think that game is coming this year. But if there's a few games on the bubble that I'm not going to talk about just yet that are AAA monsters, and that is one that I feel like has the best shot at coming out in the fall. Or holiday.
We have seen barely a bit more of that game than some other AAA games that have just kind of shown us splash screens. Not to go into Sony's catalog of first-party studios and what they haven't shown us yet, but John, that we have just now discovered this is a snake draft, so you are up again.
Oh, I'm right back with it.
Look at that.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. So my second, this is great actually, because my second game is simply an iconic series. John and I played this going back all the way to 2000, and we all know it's going to be hyped up, and it better come out this year. I'll be very disappointed.
Rolling the dice again,
Halo
my friend.
Infinite. Halo Infinite. It's coming. It's coming.
It has to.
Yeah,
It absolutely has to come this year, and it is going to dominate. And I'm very, very excited.
Oh gosh, I'm so nervous about that game.
Me too, dude. It
can't be bad either. It can't be bad, and it also has to come out this year. Like it's stuck between a rock and a hard place right now.
It may be bad for people like us, but I think kids are going to hype the crap out of it.
Yeah.
it is absolutely going to kill it on reviews.
I'm nervous, but
Me
I'm
too.
optimistic.
I'm so excited for that. I'm a huge Halo fan. I love Halo. That's like the game that like got me. Yeah, I love Halo. It's like what really made me realize that like gaming was going to be in my life forever, is playing Halo 1 for the first time. But I am worried about it, man. I'm worried that Halo has come and gone, and they've tried to revive it, and I think they've done a good job. And I think Halo 5's multiplayer was like the best they possibly could have done at the time, and it still didn't work. So I'm worried, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Yeah. I hope you have a 99 on your hands here.
I'm wondering here, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but as far as BR, do you think that would affect the score of the game if they bring one out with it, or would that be a separate thing?
Yeah, that's going to be up.
You know what I mean? Sometimes they do separate.
If it's just like a Call of Duty Warzone type thing, you might get screwed like that. If they do come out with like Halo Infinite and then like free to play Halo Infinite BR, or I don't know how they do that, but
right. If it's together though, that score's going to go up. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's going to get shot either way. I
think so too. So we're back to Derek here in the snake draft.
All right, so I did a little bit of homework here based on a franchise and how well it could be well received here, and a game that it's kind of under the radar sometimes, I think, as a franchise as a whole, but it's gained some popularity lately, the Nier franchise. And, and Replicant is coming out in a couple weeks, so I know that it's a safe release date sort of thing, but also it scored very well with Metacritic at 91%, 9 out of 10 on Steam, and it seems like it's a kind of a safer pick here for being able to get a decent score and making sure it's got a surefire release date as it comes out very soon.
Is it going to let you pick Nier Replicant? Is it on there?
It's a remake, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it's classified as a full-on remake. Oh, so you get it.
That was my pick. Oh. That was what I was going to pick. So you nabbed my pick, but I think it's a really good, solid pick.
Yeah, I think so.
The Nier before this one got like amazing reviews. It was one of the best reviewed games on the Nier franchise, so I think that's a very good pick.
Yeah,
it's again an older style game, so it all depends on how well it's going to review being older style. But I think it's a good pick.
I'm almost surprised that it is letting us do that, because I felt this is a remake or remaster, isn't a remake. I don't even know.
Remakes are allowed. So if they're classifying it as a full on remake, not just a remaster, then yeah, it's. I mean, the system tells us, we trust it
for sure.
Trust the system.
Trust the process.
Back to Tim.
All right. So now that my pick was stolen.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
I actually was eyeing up another one because I thought that was a possibility. So I'm going to go on the safer route again, kind of on the same line of what Derek was saying, a franchise that maybe a little bit safer, always generally well reviewed, maybe a game that people want to come out, one of those party games that people can't get enough of. I'm actually going to go with the Mario Golf game.
Yep, that's a good one.
I think that's a good pick. Oh, I got an error. I got to refresh it. All right,
I have that on my short list as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good, nice, safe pick before we kind of get into some of the other ones there. So
same.
Yeah, that's a can't miss.
It's not as hyped as I thought. I was kind of surprised, but I feel like it's.
I wouldn't go as far as can't miss, because I think that there is a little bit of fear that it will be close to. It will replicate what we got with Mario Tennis, which was a really, really good Mario Tennis game, but just a joke of a campaign, or whatever you want to call it, a single player story mode, whatever it was, just not enough there. It's the best Mario Tennis game that's ever come out. There just wasn't enough to do, and I think just from that brief trailer, there's a little bit of skepticism there. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully Nintendo steps it up. I can't wait for Mario Golf. Cannot wait. Back to me here. All right, so we have Ratchet and Clank already. What do we do? I know what we do. Go to draft games. Go top available. We don't take those ones. We gotta go with Deathloop. Deathloop has to be the move here. I feel relatively confident in the release just based on the fact that it was just delayed. Maybe that's not a good thing. I don't know nowadays, but Deathloop looks so cool, man. I think that game is it's one of the most unique first-person shooter, one of the most unique takes on a first-person shooter story narrative I've seen in a while. Every trailer that comes out is just so stylish, and just can't wait to play this game. And I think it's going to be a safe bet. I think it's going to review well. I'm pumped for Deathloop here. And I think it being on Game Pass is gonna be huge too.
Yeah, I cannot wait to play that game. It looks unique, and
Yeah, it does look cool.
From the developers of Dishonored, which I was a big fan of that series as well.
Arcane do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think my only concern with that game would be the replayability, because just looking at the gameplay, it looks like you kind of do the same loop. Which my question to be is how many different ways you can do it, and whether a campaign there is or whatever other content's actually in the game. So we'll kind of see what happens. But it looks really good. I'm really excited for it. So
yeah, I'm pumped for it. All right, Joe. Back to you. I think you got two here. So take your time. You gotta.
Jeez. All right, so that changes things a little bit. I'm gonna take one game here that also recently got delayed. So Deathloop was kind of in that ballpark for me. I am honestly a little bit worried about. We talked to Halo. Are we past the time frame where I wouldn't say like Halo if it's relevant or not, but does Halo work in 2021? I'm a little bit worried about this game working in 2021, but honestly, the studio's given me no reason to think otherwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Back 4 Blood here.
Okay.
And hang
good
on.
pick.
We're spinning, but I'm still in
Discord.
Discord.
The gears are spinning. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I can still hear you. I see you.
So I'm still here. There it goes. Okay. Back 4 Blood. So Left 4 Dead, huge fan back in the day. I think it'll be nostalgic for a lot of people. We'll see how it works in this day and age. I think a good chunk of it comes down to, can they find a good balance between what made Left 4 Dead popular and modernizing it, as well as taking advantage of the power of the new systems that we've got, which again, I'm confident.
I watched some gameplay on it. It looked really cool, and I like they have this new concept of the like card system. We're using the cards before you play, and it essentially randomizes the game. So I think that's the biggest thing with the Left 4 Dead franchise is that you play through it so many times. With this way, each person activates their own individual card, and it essentially randomizes the game, or makes it more difficult or less difficult, or adds different challenges, which is kind of cool. So, good pick.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So recap real quick. We're going to go into round 3 here. Delay's gone. That's my team. We've got Resident Evil Village and Back 4 Blood. John with Dry Hopped Digital. We've got Ratchet and Clank and Deathloop. Tim with Nostalgia Remastered. We've got Kena Bridge of Spirits, and Mario Golf. Derek has new Pokemon Snap and the new Nier Replicant. And then we've got Tsushima over Last of Us 2, and we've got Horizon Forbidden West and Halo Infinite. So guys, I really think I think every team is pretty damn even so far. It's well balanced.
Yeah, there's some parity for sure.
Yeah, we're the NHL here. All right, so I'm gonna go. See, I think Derek's gonna possibly have the best shot at winning this again because, like, of the same reason John and I have some success in fantasy football from time to time. It's just I don't know. There's more research involved and less bias. But
okay, I think the Nier Replicant pick was gold. I really do.
Yeah, for sure.
Money.
I mean, it's a style of game that I also like. So don't say anything about bias. I like certain games too, and it just those kinds of games. I love the franchise, and also I took Pokemon with my first pick. So I've got my biases.
Fair enough.
All right, round 3. So if we didn't have the snake draft, I don't think I would draft this high. But seeing as 2 of the other possible AAA blockbusters have already gone off the board, I feel like I can't pass up on this, despite deep down me believing there's no way this game comes out this year. So I'm gonna kind of eat my words otherwise. But I've got to go. I've got to do it. I've got to go with God of War Ragnarok. God of War 2018 is one of my favorite games ever. Like it is high on that list. It's a game I can't believe I haven't played a second time yet. They're just like Resident Evil 2 remake. But that being said, I do not think there's much of a chance at all that this comes out this year. Like I said, I just can't pass up on it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough because it's a game that if it comes out, you're gonna feast. You're gonna be up in the 90s for sure. We expect obviously anything can happen, but if it hits, it's gonna hit hard. All right, back to me. What do we got here? We know. I don't need to search. Do I need to search? No, I don't. Okay. I'm going with Returnal. I think Returnal is a very interesting game. I am a big fan of Housemarque, Resogun, Nex Machina. I think that if anything, this game is going to be fun. Housemarque knows how to make games that are fun. They had their roots in arcade style games. A couple of years ago, they put out that huge statement that arcade is dead and they're going to work on some new stuff. And I think they tried like a multiplayer game that ended up dying because they weren't really passionate about it. So they got some funding from Sony and now they're making Returnal. And the trailers look sweet. I don't think we really know what's going on from a story standpoint, but it looks beautiful. And again, we know it's going to play well. Housemarque makes games that are fun to play. So I think that I've got a relatively safe bet with Returnal.
So I think we're noticing a trend here. That was my pick next. So I had a backup pick, obviously. So yeah. So mine kind of is going in the same line of Derek. It's looking for those picks that have a certain genre where the people that are reviewing it are going to be reviewing it because they like that style of game. This game reviewed very well when it was first released, Shin Megami Tensei 5. So that's going to be my pick. I actually haven't played it, but I am very looking forward to playing it. It's, again, one of those RPG style games, has a lot of nostalgia, back on it. So I think I'm actually surprised I can pick it, but I think it's one of those games that's going to review very well, and it's got a good solid release date coming up pretty shortly here. So,
yep, that's a good pick. And there's a lot of Persona hype that's happening in the West right now. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that want to look at those roots and see what the Shin Megami Tensei games are all about. So I think that's a good pick.
Hold on, I got to search for it again because that was pulled up before it was my turn. All right, there we go. Locked it in.
Good pick.
Thank you.
I was thinking about going a little riskier here, but I can wait for my next pick to do that. One of the Pokemon games that is one of the best, well-reviewed ones of recent is the Diamond and Pearl franchise. And I'm seeing it, like, it's on my board here that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is going to be, like, it's on the list as a lot.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely okay. Those are full-on remakes. Yeah. That's 100%. Okay. I can't believe I forgot about those games. Jeez, I would have picked one already.
I really love the Pokemon Arceus one, the Pokemon Legends game that's going to come out in 2022. I am waiting for that one. But Diamond and Pearl were some of the most well-reviewed and consistently well-reviewed games. It was an 85% on Metacritic, 8.5 on IGN. It's very consistent with how it's rated. So it's a safe pick. It's something that's in my wheelhouse. And it also brought back that return of the day-night system when the games originally came out. So I think that a remake for this, because people were clamoring for it from Pokemon fan base, it's a great idea to make that kind of pick.
I think you're right. Pokemon fans have been begging for Gen 4 a remake. The only thing that I think just the early criticism is that they were hoping for like a full-on like new art style. Obviously, it's a full-on new art style, but it's still a one-to-one remake in terms of like the top-down scope and stuff like that. I think what people were hoping for like almost like a Let's Go or even like a Sword and Shield style engine where you had more like just a newer feel. So I saw a couple of things that a couple of people were bummed about that. I'm way more excited for it this way. I love that it's a faithful remaster, a full-on remake actually, but. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how these games are viewed, but I'm pumped for them.
And I'm putting a lot of my picks into the Pikachu basket here, so we'll see what happens.
Not a bad place to put it.
I like Derek's using so much logic behind all his picks. They're well researched. He's got numbers to back what he's talking about. And as much as it pains me to say this, Derek, I admire that. Good job.
Smart. It's like I had a career doing that.
Fair enough.
All right, John, on to you.
So it is on me. So I also did a little bit of research on this, but also I've watched. I can't stop watching streamers play this. At least the original. I'm gonna go with Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Oh yeah.
I hope it's gonna release. There's rumors around a June, July, August release. 90% on Metacritic, 9.5 on IGN. Like kind of what you were speaking to, Tim, is certain people are going to review it based on loving those type of speed run type of games, right?
Yep.
So I am 100% going to go with that.
I will
So
go on a
Hollow
limb
Knight
here
still
and
sound.
say that if that game comes out, John is going to have the highest scoring game on anybody's
Yeah.
list.
I hope. The thing is, I hope it's as good as the first one, right? If it's not, then it's going to completely tank and it'll be the opposite. So
They've been working on this game for a while. They're a small studio. I remember I wrote a Geekiverse article about that in like 2017 when they first announced the sequel here, Silk Song. So they've been working on this for a while. It's
okay.
gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Loving that. So of course I'm back to back. That snake draft. Didn't really have a plan for this, but I am so. I'm debating between two. I'm gonna go with another, I guess, blockbuster. I have high hopes for this personally. The series has struggled since the third one, but I'm going Far Cry. Hopefully Esposito can help that campaign story be amazing. We all love him as Mr. Gideon in the Star Wars Mandalorian. So let's hope it's a banger too. I'm going with that one.
It's a good pick.
That's almost surprised it slipped this far. I'll say.
Yeah, I think it's more so with the release date. I don't know if I trust it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think didn't they originally say it was going to be late 2020 when they first announced it? Wasn't that the first goal? And then
I
they
don't
pushed it.
recall that.
I think they did, and then they pushed it back to like early
Yeah.
2021, and then it just slipped.
Because
slipped
I think
slipped.
almost everything because of COVID, but
Yeah.
definitely I think this was announced as a pushback to this year. So I think it'll be out by the fall, probably Christmas time, or maybe even winter.
I might be wrong. I think it actually when it was announced, they announced it for early 2021, and then it slipped to not early 2021.
Later. Gotcha. Okay. That's
All right.
that's what I'm going with.
All right, who we at now?
Back to DK.
So now is a bit of a risk, more so because of the announcement or lack thereof of a release date.
Mm.
But I'm going to go with this based on the success that the franchise had with its last game, and Square Enix did a great job with Final Fantasy 15.
Got it.
Looking at the trailer for 16, it looks amazing. There's supposed to be an announcement within this year about an update on it, and I'm hoping that means it's the release date. This is probably my parachute pick, the one that I have to pull the ripcord on at some point this year. But after what I saw from the trailer for Final Fantasy 16, I just have to go with my heart on this one and make that my pick.
Respect it, man. I respect it.
Pick?
I wouldn't have picked it, but I respect it.
All right, looks like
high risk there, high reward. So if
Yeah.
it comes out, it's probably going to do well, and Derek will have the last laugh.
Exactly.
I'll be crying.
I'll be one of the first ones to pick it up. So
Yes.
all right, so it looks like I'm up next. So this is one I was doing a little bit of research on, a little bit of the first one reviewed very well, which obviously I was looking for. The second one, it's been I think it was delayed, and then now they're saying it might not come out this year. But then I guess someone tweeted the developer, and the developer's like, hey, it is for sure coming out this year, but we just don't know when. We're just making sure it looks good. So that being said, I'm actually picking up Psychonauts 2. Again, certain genre. First one reviewed well. I think it's a good, solid pick. I was doing this one other one, which I will not say, and we'll see how this goes. So I think that's what I'm going to run with. So
Tim,
right.
I have a question for you, and I want you to answer honestly. Could you tell me the other game that you were considering picking there?
Let me tell you what it is. Hold on.
Okay, thank you. Just text me.
All right, I'll let you know. I'll text you.
Tim, collusion.
I'll let you know.
I think as long as it comes out, I think it's a good pick. I'm not totally confident it will, but like you said, there's some hype on it. So that's a little bit, I think, for me, why this draft is more fun even than it would be in a normal year. There are so many question marks as to what is and what is not going to come out. So I'm into it.
For sure. Ooh, I didn't realize that's available. So it's my pick. I've got the stuff up here. Man. I'm gonna go with my gut here. This was what I was coming in to search for. I'm gonna search for it. Because it has a real release date. And I'm gonna go with oh, could I get screwed because of it being episodic? Oh, I think I'll be okay. It's September. I'm gonna grab Life is Strange, True Colors. Life is
No,
Strange.
that's not going to be episodic.
Oh, it's not?
That's like, no, this is the first one. So there you go. So this is the first one that's coming out together
Thank
as
you
a package.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I somehow missed that.
I hate to tell you that, but yes, that is this is the first one that is notably not doing the episodic release. I have not read up on this, but my belief is that they had nice hype behind their previous entries, and then it died off as you got through like to episode 3 or 4 or 5, depending on which season it was, which is natural, right? Like that happens.
Yeah, like player retention is not there. Yeah,
they didn't come out fast enough, and I kind of admire that they're changing the strategy here. But this is a full $60 release. I say 60. It will be 60, but 70 is our norm now. So you're getting it at a bargain for what it's worth.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's that makes me even more confident in that pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I did have it on my list as well. Okay, what do we got here? Back to me. Sorting through one thing on my watch list here. Guess I got 2 picks, so I got to make this count. This game, I don't know if this has. I think this has a month, not a release date. But I think there's enough hype behind it, and I've got faith in it. I'm not going to say much more than that. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm close to the time of Discord kicking me out.
We'll figure it out.
We will find out.
I'll just click the auto draft when you're up. Don't worry.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. No problem. So I'm going with Ghostwire Tokyo. I feel good about that game, and there's been some nice hype around it.
Probably can't see it, but I'm looking at that game right now, of course.
Oh, yep. That's how it goes. And then for my next pick, I think I'm going safe here. So this is a series that we see a lot of times. It's your typical run and gun. It's a series that is due for a good entry. And okay, I'm not really talking about Battlefield here. I was going to try to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just going to go straight with Call of Duty 2021. I think that's safe. Those games always do well. The rumor is that this year is going to be going back to a World War II setting. And World War I, I think overall mostly had largely positive reviews, if I recall. So we're going to go there and see what happens with a roll of the dice. That's the safest game I can choose that is not confirmed from anything on here.
Fair enough. All right, this is the first time going into this list where I have no idea what I'm about to pick. So the people at home can watch me look through this list and see if things can start to click, because there's a few that I'm just going to stay away from because I just don't trust it. There's a lot of those big blockbuster games that were announced like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, yeah, 2021 sounds great, and we know how that went down. So I don't think it's happening. For a lot of these, oh man, this is tough.
All right, so quick recap here. John's picking out a game. So I've got Resident Evil, Back 4 Blood, God of War, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Call of Duty 2021, whatever that happens to be. John is currently working on his 5th pick. He's got Ratchet and Clank, Deathloop, Returnal, and Life is Strange. Nostalgia Remembered, Tim's got Kena. He's got Mario Golf, Shin Megami, and Psychonauts 2. DK, he's got new Pokemon Snap, Nier Replicant, Pokemon Brilliant, Diamond and Shining Pearl, as well as Final Fantasy 16. And then JT, Tsushima Over Last of Us Part 2. He's got Horizon Forbidden West, Halo, Hollow Knight, and Far Cry 6. I feel like we've all got like kind of recurring themes on our individual teams. They're all very strong for different reasons. The parity is definitely there. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with what does and what does not come out. But I think it's going to be a struggle in 2021 here to get to some of our 5th and 6th picks, as we're already seeing.
I think this is the time where people win. A lot of those early picks. I think this is where these are the money picks. These are the 5th, 6th round draft picks in fantasy football that end up winning you the season that you get to keep. So,
man,
I debate on if I want to roll the dice when I get back around to my next pick here. Like, do I want to roll the dice on a game that I think is going to kill it and really I have no indication that it's truly going to come out? Or do I want to play it safe and get me a game that's going to at least get some points? It's interesting because at the end of last year in the league John and I were in, I had a bunch of games that I thought were going to do well and a few that just dropped out and were no-shows. So I had Halo last year. I had Lego Star Wars. I had something else that I'm missing. Oh, I also had Cyberpunk, which I was worried about at the end. I'm like, is this going to even hit?
Yeah.
And then as we got to Halloween, I said that was when my first game hit. I started paying attention to this thing daily, and I was dropping things and picking things up left and right. And I pulled myself out of the basement, and I got up to third. So it was a nice little comeback. Obviously, I didn't get all the way to number one, but I kind of made the playoffs, if you will. So I got back towards the end. This year, I'm trying to hope to avoid that a little bit. John, what are we thinking?
I'm struggling. I'm in a tough spot here, but I think I'm gonna take one of the first shots here. It was on page 3. I thought I liked the game. Where did it go? 1 second. We'll get there. This is where, man, it's getting so thin. It goes to show you how few actually confirmed games are out there right now. This
Even
one,
ones that have a month or a window, that's it. There's not a lot of dates.
I know, and that's why I'm going with one here, and I don't even trust that it's going to be a good game, but I just hope it nets me a couple of points over 70. We'll see. I'm taking Rainbow Six Quarantine, which the name is going to change on that. They've already confirmed for good reason. Not for good reason. I just think the last thing people want to be reminded of is quarantine. Not that it's like any kind of issue to have your game name that, but it's just like nobody wants to think of that at the moment. But they've already talked about renaming that game. So Rainbow Six Quarantine is my pick. It's supposed to come out in Q3 this year, so hopefully it gets me some points.
Yeah, it'll do well if it comes out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is if it comes out or not. So, but I mean, it does very well.
And that's not like a traditional Rainbow Six. That's like an asymmetrical type of game, right? They're doing something different with that, right?
Like almost to like Left 4 Dead. Back, so I play a lot of Rainbow Six. So when I'm not playing nostalgia games and single player RPG stuff like that, I also play a lot of shooters, and that's what I've been playing. Like John said, just the kind of the lull, both John and GT, the lull of not knowing what to play. I think that's been my biggest thing for the past 4 months. Playing shooters, that's pretty much it. And I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege on the PlayStation when it came out. While that was out, they actually had a mode called Quarantine, where it was very similar to Left 4 Dead. You get in, you complete the objectives, and you escape. So I think that's what they made the game off of. So, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I think it'll be a good game.
Hope so.
So I think that makes me next. So I actually was eyeing this game up a little bit earlier. I think it's, again, one of those games that's kind of flying under the radar just because people may not know what it is. So a big genre of games that gets very well reviewed is the games that are tactical based, like Civilization, things like that. I'm actually going to go with Humankind. I think it's going to be a very, very well reviewed game, similar to Civilization. I think it's a little more of a modern take on it, which I think people are looking for. I'm a huge Civilization fan, so I know it'll do pretty well, hopefully. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I had another one I was eyeing, but I think that one overtook that. So,
all right,
maybe it'll be there when it gets back around.
Yeah,
we'll see. It's coming quick.
Yeah.
On to Derek.
This is probably where I start messing things up a little bit around here, because of the fact that I could end up picking with a bias with my last pick. However, I'm gonna look at a little unconventional means here with this one. It still has an announced date that's TBA, but usually when it comes to games for children, it's all about what works. And sometimes adults can argue about the material, about the Skywalker Saga, but the Lego Star Wars games tend to be a hit with kids, and therefore it seems a little bit safer for me on that part. I am running the risk here of a non-release date game, but children don't seem to get as angry about Star Wars than we could. So I'm going with the Skywalker Saga for my selection here.
I have no idea how this game is not on Josiah's list already. You that worried about it?
It's not coming out this year.
You don't think so?
No. I'm sorry, Derek. Trust me, I want this game to come out so bad. Even if it scores crazy well and propels Derek to the top of the list, I want it so bad. Oh my gosh. This game, I don't know what's happening with it. It just, the other day, Traveler's Tales, who's the developer on it, they're like, this game is delayed indefinitely. It was going to be spring. We're obviously there. But that's not to say that they couldn't just be like, oh, you know what? It's coming out in October. So I'm
It
not
could be the
optimistic
ultimate
because
Merry
I've been waiting
Christmas
forever.
kind of thing.
It would be my ultimate Merry
Yeah,
Christmas. Let me tell you.
the Last of Us Part 2 was delayed indefinitely from June to July when they came out, and they're like, this is going to be delayed for an indefinite amount of time. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, all right, yeah, just like 3 weeks from now. So who knows?
So what we need is for someone internally to leak the story of this Lego Star Wars game. We have no idea where it's going to go. And if that happens, they're going to say that it's just going to come out because that's what happened, right? No?
I mean, I don't think that was why, but close enough. All right, John. Back to back. These are your last two picks?
Here, my last two
wrap it up.
picks. It's not going to be easy. I think I'm going to go two different routes. I'm going to continue on the trend of kind of what I've been doing so far, and then I'm going to go rando for the last one. But Dying Light 2 is going to be the first one. I expect it to be out this year. My little brother is a big fan of the first Dying Light. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it did rate pretty well. So I'm going to go with Dying Light 2 as my fifth pick if it lets me.
Dude, that's another game that I have high on my want list, but I don't think it's one of those games where I'm like, what's going on with it?
We just haven't seen it. It doesn't exist.
So I got to see it. Geekiverse got to go to E3 a few years ago. So this is what, 2018 now. I got to see it behind closed doors. It exists. It was real. It was ready to go. I swear it was ready to come out in 2019. Obviously, we don't know everything behind it. And I know that they've gone through quite a bit of changes at that studio, but it looked great. Granted, we didn't get hands-on. We had a developer play in front of us, but I don't know really what's going on with the turmoil there. Again, hope I'm totally wrong on this and hope that it comes out this year because selfishly, I want to play it.
They may skip and just go to Dying Light 3 at this point, it seems like.
That's fair.
Honestly. So as far as my last pick, this is total probably dumb positivity here. I was very unhappy with the last Battlefield game. And my hope is they're absolutely going to fix that issue. And I think this will be a BR that comes out with it. And they're going to come out with a banger. And I'm excited for it. So I'm going with a next-gen Battlefield game in the holiday season here. Hopefully it comes out. But
I feel confident that is going to happen. I think
I think it will
too. Get a reveal for Battlefield 6 or whatever we want to call it. And
right.
It'll be there. So I've
had potential. Last game, the BR, not even BR included, just in general, but the game was moved, played pretty well. It's I think they focused a little too much on the BR. I think they'll fix their mistakes.
I think they got to get back to basics with Battlefield. I've always been high on that series and always thought it was really quality, but I think they lost their way with the last few, or maybe they lost focus.
Right. So it was like they were slept on, and then they were like, oh, people know we're slept on, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it didn't help that they released Battlefield 5 and Titanfall within a week of each other.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. My gosh, terrible marketing there. All right, so I think we're back to DK here, right?
Yep. And my final pick, Josiah, everything you said about biases and me ignoring them is just not true here. Now, as a kid, I randomly just picked up a game from a Hollywood video. Yeah, we're throwing this in there. But it was a hack and slash game, and I immediately I don't know why, I just loved the game. It was Dynasty Warriors 3.
I love me some Dynasty Warriors
for the PS2, and throughout their series and their other series, Samurai Warriors, 5 for Samurai Warriors comes out this summer. It's got a July 7th release date, and it's coming off of its best reviewed game of the entire series, actually, with Samurai Warriors 4. This one looks aesthetically pleasing, and I think focusing on two of the bigger names in Japanese history, in Nobunaga Oda and Mitsuhide Akechi, this is probably going to be at least decently reviewed game. It's not going to score me a lot of points, but I know that it's not going to sink me. So I'm going with Samurai Warriors 5 as my final pick here, and something that I definitely want to pick up and play once it comes out.
See, I told you, Derek's going to win this whole thing. This was a mistake.
That's a good pick.
So, John, I think
That's
Derek
a strong
is
team.
He is as prepared for this as he was to go into the final boss in Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh my god, dude! I'm replaying that game right now. It's on Game Pass, and I'm playing it on the Series X. And I'm chipping away at it. I've been replaying it ever since it came, like when EA Access or whatever was
I
added.
picked it back up again.
I just been going in every couple of like weeks. I'll just hop in, and I'm getting the stim packs, and the game is so much easier. I'm like a quarter of the way through the game, and I have 5 stim packs, which is 2 more than I had when I beat the game last time. If you're a Geekiverse listener, you know that story of Josiah and I. But it's we're so stupid, dude.
It's
funny.
Changing.
It's like the federal government. Give me that stimmy.
Yeah.
Except John and I didn't get 2 out of the 3.
I know, we're so dumb, dude. That last boss fight I thought was like the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm like, dude, if I had 3 more stim packs, I could have beaten this in 10 minutes.
It's funny. I
really brings it up on the podcast, and we're just like, "What?
Yeah.
I still have nightmares
That's a
about
game
it.
I'm gonna go back and so I played it on Xbox, and I got all the achievements for it. I want to play it on PlayStation just so I can platinum it for the hell of it. So
There you go.
Yeah, great game. I enjoyed that a lot too.
Yeah, good stuff.
Definitely.
So, but
Tim-
actually, funny, Derek mentioned that because that's one of my favorite games growing up is the Dynasty Warriors franchise. It was one of those games, Lu Bu and all them. I remember playing that as a kid.
I hated what they did with 9.
Yeah, I haven't played one in a while. I've actually wanted to revisit that, and some of the old school, what were they? Mech Warrior games were always pretty cool to me. So,
Oh yeah, no, I do love a lot of their spin-offs too.
Yeah.
Growing up, I watched Gundam a lot, and when they made a Dynasty Warriors Gundam, I was like, yes.
Yep. So, I'm actually going a little bit off the beaten path here. So this is one that I'm just kind of throwing in there at the end. So if it, I don't think I could pick it. It's ineligible.
Oh, no. What was it?
That's unfortunate.
To see it.
Disgaea 6. I think it's because it's released internationally already.
It shouldn't
Maybe.
matter. No, I was able to pick up Persona 5.
Oh, I can
Striker.
draft it. Do I just draft it?
What is it saying ineligible?
It said so when I searched for it. Under status, it says ineligible, but I can draft it. That's where I'm confused here.
Disgaea 5.
Disgaea 6.
Oh, 6.
Yeah.
Disgaea 6.
If it lets you, I would assume you're good, right?
Yeah.
But it says it's released in international, so I don't know the.
Oh,
I don't know.
That is one of the flags. I mean, I don't care. See if it. Yeah, but I don't think any of us care. If it lets you draft it, go for it.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Wait, let's see what the score was.
Well,
first
anyways,
before-
I'll kind of explain the rationale behind it. So this is a franchise, again, very, very well reviewed for the most part. Kind of has a good following. I think this is the first one that's come out in a while for newer gen. It's very popular in Japan, obviously. So a little bit of a weird game, but overall, again, one of those tactical games, kind of like the Final Fantasy Tactics that were released way back in the day. So we'll see if it works.
Little tactics ogre.
Ineligible. Bam.
Yeah,
Nope,
you know
can't
what
do
it is? It does make sense when you think about it because the reviews exist. You can go see how it reviewed in Japan. So that is, I guess, I guess it makes sense.
It should have looked, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
No worries.
but not that it would have mattered. All right, you got to give me a second here now because I'm back on the.
Oh, trust me, I know that feeling.
You know what? I'm gonna go with my original one that I was looking at. So this is This is a second game in series. I'm a huge fan of Metroidvania. It's one of those franchises that, Metroid Prime growing up. Big fan. I'm hoping maybe one of those comes out at some point for the Nintendo Switch.
I don't know about that.
We'll see. They talked about maybe it happening. So, but I'm hoping that comes out at some point.
Yeah.
That and Zelda were my go-tos back then. So, but me and John don't want to talk about Zelda at all. So we'll side that for later. But I'm picking Axiom Verge 2.
Ooh, that's a great pick if it comes out.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about. But I feel roll the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta risk it for the biscuit.
Yep. I've quite the unique team. Going for it.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right, back to me. I think I actually found a game that I want to pick this time, which is good. Good news, right?
Yep.
All right, so this is a game that was showed off at an Xbox Indie Showcase, and for me, it kind of stole the show just in how it looked. It's not a game that I'm going to play. It doesn't seem like it's really up my alley, but I think it's going to do well. We're going with Scarlet Nexus, and it has a release date, which is unheard
Soon.
of. Yeah, June, I think, right?
It's very rare this year to have a release date. Yeah. June 25th.
Yeah.
That was a very colorful game, and the combat looked cool. I know there's an audience out there for that game. It's Bandai Namco. Let's hope it does well. We'll see what happens.
I like the look of it.
Scarlet
John,
Nexus. Look it up.
It's a game that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm excited because it's coming out and it's on Xbox. I'm probably not going to play it. I want to, in theory, but I'm like, am I really going to devote time to this?
Is that kind of like a Tales franchise game?
Not really. I don't think it's like a Tales. It reminds me of a game that came out for Switch that I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a very anime game. It's a very colorful, very anime characters. If it's a game that like would ever come to Game Pass, I would download it just to see if I like the combat, and like I'm sure I mean I would give it a try if it was on Game Pass.
I think it's a good pick. The game looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. Very colorful.
Looks like that one game that came out not too long ago. It's kind of like a Dark Souls type game. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, and
Keep
part of
going.
that
I'll get back
part
to
of
you.
that pick though, John, that I would like is the fact that in its
Oh,
bright color.
Josiah's gone.
Oh, he's back. He's all right.
Yeah.
But in its color and the way that that'll be artistically viewed, that could actually score some points for you.
For sure.
game's called Code Vein. That's what it reminds me
Oh,
of.
Code Vein for sure. Yep.
The only
Similar
thing that
art
would have
style.
made that Josiah exit from Discord any better is if I was like, and with my final pick, I would like to choose. Oh, damn it! All right, here we go.
We're back.
So there's one of two directions I want to go with this last one. So one game has a release date, one does not. If the one did have a release date, I think I would rather go with it. Speaking a little bit about bias, I like the premise. I like what's going on with the whole theme. We talk about like Deathloop being an interesting, on a loop. We've got Returnal that's on a loop. It's a little bit of a theme. So I am not going to go with 12 minutes. Which, of course, has a wonderful voice cast, one of which is Daisy Ridley from Star Wars fame. But I'm going to go with one that I think is probably going to do well because fans of this series have waited for a while for it. But I'm going to go with No More Heroes 3.
I was between that and Axiom Verge 2, so that's my
Yeah.
other two.
Jeff is very happy with you right now, Josiah.
I'm going to say somewhere Jeff just is smiling and he has no idea why.
He's probably been screaming the last like 8 rounds. Nobody's taking No More Heroes.
Nobody's taking No More Heroes. Nobody's taking it. Well, there it is, Jeff, you son of a gun. All right, guys, these teams are looking pretty strong. And then, John, we got to go through our counter picks still, right?
We do, right? So I think John goes first. So it goes reverse order for counter picks. John gets the first counter pick is the way it looks. So a quick refresher. We can pick a counter pick. We have to pick one.
I would say drafting 5th was the best spot to be drafting in this draft.
Honestly, I mean, you've got two.
A quick breakdown of the counter pick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so you can only pick from games that are on somebody else's roster. So basically, the 4 of us, you get to pick from our roster a game that's been drafted, and basically the game that you think is either going to do the worst or that you're very sure won't come out because you don't want any positive points. Any positive point for that game is a negative point for you. Any negative point for that game is a positive point for you.
And so, John, you would be honestly saying the best way to go would be to pick a game that's just not going to come out.
That's my theory. Last year, my counter pick was Breath of the Wild 2. Somebody drafted Breath of the Wild 2 last year in 2020, and I'm like, that's my counter pick right away. I have no faith that game's coming out. I'm not going to roll the dice and try to get some points on it. I mean, not many games, especially games that would have been drafted by us right now. We had six selections. Not many of these, if any, are probably going to score below a 70. So if you're really going to pick a game that's going to come out, you just want to lose as little points as possible. Because, 70 is a pretty low score. Right, so
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was
But it
listening
can-
to Joe talk about Star Wars most likely not coming out, or hoping that it did, but probably won't. I'm going with Star Wars, thinking
What
it's
have I
not
done?
coming out.
Not
Thinking
that's
it's
a good
coming
pick.
out.
I said too much. All right.
Joe's giving away insider information. All right, so
Damn it.
Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is John's counter pick. Now we're on
That's mine.
to
Derek.
all right.
I do think it's
Derek.
gonna be great, though. I love it.
It is going to be great. I got to work on a leak for that game somehow. All right, we're going to start a fake website here. The Geek
Now-
Universe.
the
Okay.
Sleekiverse.
Sleekiverse.
Geek on Fleekiverse. Okay.
The Leakiverse. How did we not come up with that? Why did it take us four guesses for that?
All right.
Oh, that's
so
my favorite thing to come out of a Geekiverse show in forever.
I
The
really hope-
Leakiverse. Okay.
The Leakiverse.
We just own it. We're trying to leak things, but not tie it back to the Geekiverse. Just point name
I'm
it
not-
the Geekiverse.
I'm not posting this episode till you buy that domain, Josiah.
So he's John Fick, but now he spells his without an H as well. Okay, I love all of it. So many
Thank
ideas.
you, by the
That's
way,
our parody
Josiah.
right there.
Yep.
Josiah is just helping me buy some time here on which one to counterpick on this. And
Yeah,
I'm probably going to go on the route of, based on estimations there, a next gen Battlefield game, they say holiday 2021, and if there's one hiccup, that could cause that to just bump back into 2022.
Yeah, for sure.
True. And I'm going to be honest with you, Battlefield has not been on a high lately. I think that even if that game comes out, it could be a decent counter pick, but who knows?
All right.
Another question. I'm sorry, Tim.
No, you're okay.
John, can like two people pick the same one if needed?
Nope.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. So part of me wants to go the route of trying to pick one that's going to get me some points, but I feel like that's very rare with the picks that we have at this point.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to again go on the safer route, and I'm going to pick the new Final Fantasy. I don't see that coming out.
That's the pick.
They delay everything. So even if the game's set to release in a week, delays. So, but if it comes out, phenomenal game. So I hope it doesn't come out, because then I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
I love all of our picks here. We're like, yeah, that game's definitely not coming out, but I hope it does.
Yeah, I hope it does. I'll take a loss for that.
We still want to play these. Can I counterpick my own game? That's a good question.
See, John, if I had money on someone counterpicking themselves, it was Derek. I was waiting for Derek to be like,
that's the easy one. But oh my god, if it happens, Cory Barlog, if you do it, I swear.
Dude, that's high risk reward, right?
That is high risk.
Like Legend of Zelda, really. Last year,
it is.
Come out.
I felt a lot stronger about Zelda, man.
I'll tell you this: I don't think there's a chance God of War is coming out this year.
I don't either. I'm wrong. Me too. But if I'm wrong, if I counterpick that and I'm wrong, I'm in the hole like 40 points. Like I threw out my season. I threw out the whole year if I'm wrong about that. What could I not be wrong about? What could I not be wrong about? I think Horizon's further along than God of War.
Yes, I have Horizon as a possibility for holiday.
Yeah.
And God of War is a summer or holiday next year.
I would bet they both get delayed, to be honest, but I just think that Horizon has a better chance, so that's off the table. I think Dying Light 2 is pretty strong chance of getting... I mean, if I don't go Dying Light, you do, is my guess.
Counterpick the counterpick.
Yeah, right? Block them? No. Wait. I guess that's a good question. Can you counterpick your own game? Are any of mine on here? No, they're not. You cannot counterpick your own game.
Oh.
So if I do Dying Light 2, Josiah can't do God of War. I'm going God of War. I'm confident. It's not coming out this year. There's no chance. Yeah. There's no chance.
Oh, man. I thought 100% you were going for Dying Light 2, and I was about to I was going to be so mad. Okay, thank you. It was going to get ugly and hysterical.
I'm very happy. It would have been something to see. You should have did it for I almost took Back for Blood on my end. If I wanted to try to get points, I think that was one of the picks that could be hit or miss.
I do agree with you, although it has a date. Not that that necessarily means anything. It has a month, I should say. Actually, no, it has a date. Okay. Yeah, John, you and I go to dinner, and we just don't say anything for like the first 20 minutes, and then I'm like, how could you do that? All right, where is it? Okay, there it is. Dying Light 2. Yeah, that's my pick for sure. I do not think that game is coming out. I would also not be totally surprised if it gets canceled at some point. Despite it being so far along. That's just one of those games that seems like it has at least gotten to the surface of development hell, to say the least. So again, as we've said throughout this draft, I hope I'm totally wrong, because I want to play that game, and I don't care if it does well.
It's just funny though, like we all like I feel like we look at each other's list, we're like, we hope. Like I want all this to just do so well. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're gamers, man. We love this.
2021, the year of hope.
It has to be at this point. That's all we have left.
Our league title was Game Delay Simulator, which is why my team name is Delays Gone. So hopefully that's accurate. But recap the teams here. If you're watching, you've got it on screen there at youtube.com/Geekiverse. But if you're listening on the podcast version on any podcast streaming service, so my team was Delays Gone. We've got Resident Evil Village, Back for Blood, God of War Ragnarok, fingers crossed, Ghostwire Tokyo, Call of Duty 2021, and No More Heroes 3. The reigning champ himself, Disruptoid, Guess I'm going to have to call you that on a few upcoming shows. Dry Hop Digital. It's got Ratchet and Clank, Deathloop Returnal, Life is Strange True Colors, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Parasite, and Scarlet Nexus. Tim, Nostalgia Remastered. He's got Kena, Mario Golf, Shin Megami, Psychonauts 2, Humankind, Axiom Verge 2, and DK. He's got Name of a Team. Great name, Derek. We've got new Pokemon Snap, Nier Replicant, Pokemon Brilliant, Final Fantasy 16, Lego Star Wars. Please come out. Samurai Warriors 5. And then to wrap things up, JT, Team Tsushima over Last of Us 2. How many times can I work that into a show, JT? Horizon Forbidden West, Halo Infinite, Hollow Knight, Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, and the next-gen Battlefield game. We've all got our counter picks in, too, and I think this is a pretty competitive field, fellas.
I have a confession.
Go ahead.
So before we did this, I vowed to myself that I would, aside from Kena, because that's, again, a borderline one, I was going to try to not pick a mainstream game that everyone knows about. I was trying to put more emphasis on games that maybe aren't as well noticed. Because again, sometimes those are very well reviewed, and just because that's kind of what I like. I like the games that maybe aren't always talked about. So that's kind of what I had the mindset coming in to do. So I think I did a pretty well job of it. So
yeah,
Mario
Golf,
to do that.
Big sleeper hit for sure.
I'm pretty intrigued about because once
John, you're muted.
All finished up, we have the upcoming games list. So there's the list of the 10 games that are coming out with dates. I've got the first 2, so my scores are going to be probably the first ones that pop out with Nier Replicant and new Pokemon Snap. So it's going to be interesting to see where I start off here.
Yeah, that was an unknown game. I said with a little bit of variance, okay? I can't be perfect. I got to try to get a couple of points.
Nice. And the
John is the Last of Us.
The analytics stats, they're not favoring you right now. You got
but you know what?
Charts,
it's
man.
Look
red
at the
charts.
parody, man. Look at it. So that does not bode well for us.
Yeah.
We are in trouble. We'll see. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. I know on our regular Geeks Got Game episodes, we'll update this. We'll post it on social media. Maybe when a game comes out and we wait a week and see what those scores look like. I'll be intrigued to update everyone on those standings, if not for just keeping my own eye on it. I mentioned at the end of the episode, I wanted to go through our 2021 most anticipated games list. We really caught most of this on here. It'll be interesting to see, and we ranked them so 10-1. But really quick first, because of the personnel we got on this, I do want to mention what our Game of the Year ranking was. So Game of the Year 2020. I know we're 4 months past this, but we haven't put it anywhere. So I'm just going to get this out here now. The panel for voting was myself, John, Tim. We had Rashawn Anderson and then Jeff Pavlak. Rashawn and Jeff are no longer with the Geekiverse, but their votes count. So this is what we had. Number 10, we had Demon's Souls remake. 9, Hyrule Warriors, which I enjoyed quite a bit. 8, we had Call of Duty. 7, Hades. 6, Astro's Playroom. So I'm really excited about that. What a game.
Funny story, me and John at some point too, because it's we had a thing going.
It's still a thing.
Muted again, John, by the way.
Oh yeah, John, you're mute. So
yeah.
Still a thing. Number 5, we had Final Fantasy VII Remake. Number 4, we had Animal Crossing. It was up there. Here's where it gets spicy. So some people are going to like this, and some people are not going to like this. It's just the way of the world. So Well, yes. No, you're right. This is the reason we came up with the MCU review. John and I wanted to put our will on the world when it came to the rankings for the Marvel movies and future the Star Wars movies. So it's funny that John says this. He doesn't know what's here. Well, you don't know the order. Number 3, The Last of Us Part 2.
Give us the top 3, not in any specific order, then tell us where they ranked.
Well, too late.
A little late for that.
Too late.
I like that idea.
I'm just gonna keep going at this point. Number 2, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So what's left at number 1? John's gonna have something smart ass to say. Here it is. JT, we had Ghost.
What does he do?
Let's get in the game.
He's throwing up. He's so excited right now. Ghost of Tsushima, Game of the Year, Geekiverse 2020.
Yeah. Great game.
It is the best.
The people have spoken.
We are the champions.
You can't go wrong with anything there. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and having the 4th spot when it comes to the top 6 in Astro. I know. You can't go wrong. That's the end of the day. I had Miles and
I
then
still haven't
Ghost and
played
then Last of Us.
Morales.
Have you played Astro's Playroom or no?
No, I need to.
Oh, so funny story. Me and John. So I started playing Astro's Playroom. I beat the game. I platinumed it because that's how much I love the game. And I realized there was
You have to.
it's not hard either. So a lot of nostalgia. So I started playing the speedruns with John. I'm like, oh, like this is fun. Like I'm enjoying the speedrun. So next thing you know, I'm like really going at it. And then me and John are going back and forth, back and forth. Next thing I know, it's like top 1,000 in the world, top 700. And I'm like, what is going on? Like we're getting a little too carried away. And it became to the point where I would like turn on the game like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like there's no way I can cut time off. So, and somehow I cut a lot of time off. Have you revisited it since I went on? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of
maybe
fun.
next charity stream we need to do some Astro. I think.
Astro's speed
I
runs.
would love a side-by-side view of you guys competing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That's got to happen, fellas.
That'd be awesome.
As well as a little more Among Us. Am I right, Derek?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
That's
Uh-oh.
right. That's what I thought.
Let's follow the new guy. Try to scare him. What's gonna happen? You know.
Oh, you
the
suckers.
thing that-
I mean,
Guys,
Derek
that
was
always
taking bets
happens.
on Twitter on what to do to people. So
I was
Well,
undefeated for a short period of time in both Among Us and Fortnite.
I
Fortnite was
gotta
kind of
say,
cheap, but you know.
Yeah.
one of the times of someone donating money to make me stand and stare at a wall made
yeah.
sure that it was a perfect alibi for me. That was fantastic.
That was
pretty
fun.
funny.
That was a fun
Yeah,
night.
I look forward to the next stream, which we've just shortly begun talking about here.
someone
okay.
else has got to eat the hot pepper next time, by the way. So I've done my due diligence. Someone
I
else
still
is
have
up
my,
now.
My drum
I-
video that I am working on that
Or the chip.
hate-
promised.
I hate saying this, but there is I have a video proof of me struggling eating a hot pepper. So
Mm.
that
Okay,
one-
so a few bucks gets that video into the stream. Got it.
or just reimagined.
Don't die.
I can't promise that
2021
at this
most
point.
anticipated games according to the Geekiverse. Again, same panel that we had. A lot of these games, obviously, we picked today. There's one or two surprises, and we'll see. But number 10, we had Deathloop. The outlier here, number 9. This is Jeff all day long. Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin.
I did think about selecting that game.
Yeah, I looked at that one too.
Yeah. One of these things is not like the other. 8. We had Ratchet and Clank. It's relatively low on the list.
Pretty low, yeah.
7, Resident Evil 8. Number 6, we had Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh, and then 5 hurts just a little bit. Gotham Knights.
Ooh,
So we
yeah.
did this vote in December.
Sorry, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Still muted.
So muted.
I don't know why that's so funny.
No, that's a weird one because I'm muted on Discord, but I wasn't muted on the stream. So everybody else who's watching this heard me like saying, "No, I'm not," because I can see
funny.
myself. I can see myself not muted, and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" And I look over at Discord, and I am
my
muted.
God.
I have the same hotkey to mute me on OBS and Discord, so I'm like, "I'm not muted. What are you talking about?" You couldn't hear me. They could.
Funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a kid and I can't help it.
that
Number
was
4,
mean.
we have Halo. Number 3, we have God of War. 2, John, we've got Horizon. We've got Horizon above God of War. And then number 1, jury's out. I'm gonna say again, there's no chance. Zelda.
It's not
There's
happening.
always some chance.
Nintendo. They don't like to do those long promotional life cycles. I mean, they'll announce that game and put it out quickly. So it could happen. I don't see it, but it could happen.
So to wrap things up here, I know we usually do this at the beginning of the show for Geeks Got Game. We call it "What's in Your System." I don't necessarily want to go too deep into it, but it's just a nice send off here. So the Geekiverse fans that are coming back, and whether you're from the past or you're new, you just get to know us a little bit here because that's a little bit more of our theme this time is geek culture here. So why don't you just wrap up with giving us a quick send off, and then what is the most recent game you've played, or the game you're playing currently, or maybe it could be a few. John, I know you mentioned you're looking for the next AAA game here. So what's been occupying your time here?
Yeah, I've been in one of those lulls where I just can't find something that scratches the itch. So I'm not playing anything of any substance at the moment. I'm just playing some Fortnite. I'm a sucker for it, man. That's like my game where when I just have nothing to play, I just drop in and play some more Fortnite. So I'm just working my way through that battle pass and trying to get some wins. And yeah, nothing really else. I'm looking forward to MLB The Show coming out next week, so that's gonna be fun. But other than that, just more Fortnite.
Well, if you need any tips from a Fortnite pro, you just let me know and I'll refer you to Tim and JT.
I think Joe's win rate's the highest out of anyone, though, honestly.
True.
Tim, why don't we go to you next? What's been occupying your time?
So I've been in a similar thing in a lull. I have a game in my head, though, that's this week is the week. So right now I've been playing a lot of League of Legends, playing a lot of Valorant. That's my big grind game right now. Everyone I know is trying to play it right now, which has been a lot of fun. My game of the week. So this is a game that growing up was pretty close to my favorite RPG. Very underrated. But the game was actually never finished when it came out. I know I've talked to Joe about this. Actually, I advertised. They should pay me actually.
Cyberpunk?
So
Oh, sorry.
no, yeah. By Squaresoft back in the day. So they actually just remastered the entire game and added all the finished content. It's actually called Sega Frontier Remastered.
Ooh.
So really looking forward to it. If you like old school RPGs, it's kind of one of those games that's before its time where it kind of has a battle system that's very random in a sense, but there's some logic behind it. And it's essentially free play. If you've ever played Octopath Traveler, it's like what Octopath Traveler was based off of. So that comes out Thursday, and I will be occupying all my time with it. There's 8 different protagonists you get to play through of each story. So very long game and a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I can't wait to see more about that because Tim's been talking to me about it for a while now. So I'm excited to see some of the gameplay from the old versus the new that we've got coming out there.
Yeah.
JT, what's been in your system?
There's a lot of BR. Sadly, I can't stay away from Fortnite, COD. But I am about to replay this bad boy because I want to play Morales. But I promised myself I'd replay Spider-Man before I play that.
Just hop into Miles Morales. It does such a good job of catching you
I've
up.
I've been wanting to replay that. I've been wanting to replay that so bad. So I figured if I'm gonna play Miles, I might as well replay that. I need something new, man. I'm telling you, I don't care what it is, but
Miles
you know what I
Morales,
really wanted
new.
to play that I need a PC for, and I've been talking to Tim about this. I think for almost over a year now. I want to play Tarkov really bad, and my current gaming laptop is probably blow up if I try to play it. So I gotta get a PC for that to happen.
when you're ready to build your budget PC, you know my phone number. I will be at your house.
That is absolutely happening, and then we will play some Tarkov probably
Yeah, I'm
24/7. Then
Also, we need to film it if you go to try and play it on your current setup.
I'll do it after. Yeah, after I get the build by Tim, we'll do a live charity stream of my house on fire.
It's a lot. It's a lot at once.
Sorry, I did not anticipate.
Oh, no.
Oh man, DK, what anything been occupying your systems recently?
So it's been a bit of a juggling for me. It depends on what system I'm playing for the night. If it's the Xbox, I've been picking up Tony Hawk Remastered because that game will just never die for me, and I love it. If it's the PS4, I started playing Samurai Warriors 4 again because I know 5's coming out, and also with the Xbox again, Jedi Fallen Order because I can't just not play that game. And with the PC, I got a new one, and I decided because I'm really starting to get big into some Dungeons and Dragons, I ended up getting Baldur's Gate for that early access, and I wanted to see what that's been about.
Nice.
You got to play Diablo when it comes out?
Yeah, probably.
Hit me up. I'm down. I'm always down for some Diablo.
There we go.
Little of everything there, Derek. I love it.
Yeah, I like that.
And I mean, May the 4th is coming, so it's only appropriate to play a Star Wars game this, a few weeks out here.
I will say if anyone's down to do some sort of a stream for it, we can do the Geekiverse plays terribly Star Wars Squadrons.
Ooh,
That's a difficult game.
It is very hard.
I'm definitely down for that.
I die a lot.
Yep, I think most people probably do. Yeah, definitely in for that. For me, I mentioned it, earlier on the show. In the last week or two, I played through all of Resident Evil 3 remake. Man, I love what's going on with that franchise right now. I'm so happy that they decided to invest in this. Also, Ratchet and Clank 2016. So first Ratchet and Clank game I ever finished. Loved it. I love games like that are light-natured. Anything like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. Love all that stuff. So cannot wait to get my hands on the new Ratchet and Clank coming out in just a few short months here. And then last night I really took a turn for really a big 180. So we're talking about these light games and Crash Bandicoot. I started Death Stranding.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love that game. I really do.
Just the way
Man,
you said
it's so
that.
hit or miss. So that game came out a week before Jedi Fallen Order, and I canceled my pre-order for it when I read a bunch of reviews. And it felt like, no disrespect to the reviewers, but it was one of two camps. The people who scored it super high felt like fanboys and girls to me. One review had it like a 9 out of 10. I don't remember the publication, but they said, Death Stranding is not about fun. I wouldn't say that you have fun for the first 10 hours. I was like, first 10 hours? Oh my gosh, get me out of here. I wanted to beat that game before Jedi Fallen Order was coming out. Wasn't going to happen. I needed to clean my plate. So I bought it on Black Friday. I'm back to it. I love the cinematic style. This is my first Hideo Kojima game. Don't shoot me. And honestly, I'm an hour in, so I've played about 5 minutes worth of gameplay.
Right.
But, I love that. I love cinematics in games. So it has really stuck with me so far. I got to say, I was thinking about it at work today. Even when I went to bed last night, I'm like, oh gosh, this is really going to grab me, I think. So we'll see where that goes. But, and then our John, our friend Dan Zwawa, I swear, the biggest, not just Kojima fanboy, but like he like pushed me to get Death Stranding. It's so funny because I mentioned it to him a year and a half ago, and he's just like, dude, you have to play it. You have to play it. So I finally bit the bullet, and I can't wait to text him that I've started it because I'll be happy to see his response.
I still think about that game. That's how much I liked it. And I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. Like, that franchise just always stuck around with me. And I think it's one of those games, you have to take it for what it is. You got to understand what you're playing. And I think that's the beauty of the game, is understanding that, there's a story and there's an underlying concept to everything that you do, and just enjoy the ride. I mean, that's the biggest thing I'd say. So I loved it. I really did.
I'm trying to minimize outside noise on it as well as expectations of any type, because I run into trouble when I set expectations. I think a lot of us do. So we'll see what happens. But my report on that, give me a few weeks for that. wrapping up the show here. We thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see where this goes throughout the year here. You can watch all of the Geekiverse's web content in video form at youtube.com/the Geekiverse. Of course, check us out at thegeekiverse.com. And for all of your podcast needs, we are basically on any streaming service imaginable. So just search the Geekiverse plus the platform of your choice. We are very likely there. We're going to get back into the MCU reviewed shortly, where John and I have imposed our will on a master list, as I mentioned, of all the Marvel games. Poor JT is along for the ride to try and set us straight, but I don't know if he's going to have success. You're going to have to tune in and see. Tim, and, yeah, I don't think so. Tim is going to be joining me for a reboot of Dadcast, so kind of a lifestyle podcast for gaming dads. Where we launched that last year. We got 2 episodes under our belt, and then we had a hiatus. So we're excited to get back into that. And Derek's going to be joining us for some of our content coming up, including some of the live streams that we are starting to talk about. So last thing I want to mention here, John, can you just tell everybody where you got that awesome shirt that you're wearing?
Oh, I sure can. So this shirt is by 26 Shirt, our good friend Del Reed, who happens to join us on the MCU Reviewed every once in a while. His company, 26 Shirts, is amazing. This is one of their spin-off brands, Fantastic. They make some nerdy related shirts, as well as their Buffalo sports themed shirts. So great stuff. We love Del. Go support 26 Shirts, and I think you can still grab this one, and you should.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, and we had a little insight on that one before.
We did, yeah. A little sneak preview.
Little crossover if you're listening between WandaVision and the Office. So that's 26shirts.com. Every shirt, a good portion of that shirt sale goes to a family or a charity in need. You're supporting your community there when you do that. And also recently they've crossed $1.1 million in donations to date for the company. So we are huge fans of 26 Shirts, and Del Reed over there. Can't wait to do more podcasts and video shoots with him. But for the wonderful cast here of John, JT, Tim, and Derek, I'm Josiah. We will catch you all very soon. Thanks for joining us.